Justin Baldoni just tore through Blake Lively's carefully crafted act in court, leaving no room for illusions. But the real shocker is that her so-called rock, Ryan Reynolds, stood by in silence. No defense, no support, just quiet acknowledgement of a truth he can't ignore. He knows exactly what's falling apart, and he won't let her pull him down with her. Blake isn't just losing face, she's watching her entire career go up in flames, and if this downward spiral continues, she might see her bank account drained to the last cent. Let's pause for a second to appreciate the absolute catastrophe she walked right into when she chose to go head-to-head with Justin Baldoni. She probably thought she had everything under control, that she could strong-arm her way through the legal system like some Hollywood powerhouse. But absolutely not. It took only an hour and a half for her entire case to start falling apart like a house of cards in a storm. And here's the kicker, this wasn't even the final battle. Yet there she was, her legal team in chaos, collapsing like amateurs, thrown into a courtroom fire they never saw coming. How did things come to this point? Because Blake believed she could control the narrative. She threw a massive $250 million harassment lawsuit at Justin Baldoni, likely confident he'd back off because of the pressure. Also, she probably thought the media and Hollywood elite would just stand behind her, making it an easy win. But Justin wasn't about to let her dictate the game. Instead of backing down, he flipped the entire game on its head. He fired back with a jaw-dropping $400 million counter lawsuit, turning her so-called power move into a full-blown legal catastrophe. And that's how Blake's confidence shattered. She wasn't calling the shots anymore. One moment, she thought she had him cornered, and the next, she was the one scrambling to save herself. Blake had the New York Times in her pocket. She had Ryan Reynolds standing by. She had Hollywood's biggest names ready to back her up. But when it came time to face the facts in court, none of that carried any weight. And if that wasn't a harsh enough reality check, the judge made sure to drive the point home. Every single motion her legal team pushed forward, denied without a second thought. Picture walking into the courtroom with an army of top-tier lawyers, expecting your industry status to tip the scales, only to be shut down at every possible turn. Not once, not twice, but every single attempt to gain ground was tossed out before it even had a chance to stick. And the craziest part is that the trial hasn't even kicked off yet, and Blake is already drowning in humiliating legal setbacks. At this pace, she might not even make it to March 2026 before her entire case crashes and burns. Perhaps her legal team totally misjudged the whole scenario. They were not walking into a calm, orderly courtroom debate, rather, they were in for a brutal awakening. This wasn't just a lawsuit, it was all-out warfare, and Baldoni's legal bulldog, Friedman, didn't step into that courtroom to negotiate. He meant to destroy. Hollywood's double standards are on full display, and the world is watching. No amount of A-list connections, media spin, or industry backing can twist reality this time. The mask has slipped, and Blake Lively is staring down a truth she never saw coming. The moment she stepped into that courtroom, her legal team looked like they wanted to vanish into thin air, and honestly, who could blame them? Their first frantic move, a weak gag order aimed at silencing Justin and his attorney, was instantly rejected. The judge didn't even entertain it, and just like that, Blake's worst fear became a cold hard fact. Friedman, Justin's ruthless attorney, now had free rein to dismantle her case piece by piece. Friedman didn't just poke holes in Blake's case, he ripped it apart like a demolition crew on a deadline, and her legal team had nothing. No solid defense, no persuasive arguments, just panicked glances and a courtroom full of silence as Friedman shredded their case like a rejected Hollywood script. Every motion they threw out was shot down instantly, and the judge didn't even pretend to consider their weak attempts. This wasn't just a setback, it was a total devastation and a legal massacre that left Blake's team in ruins. But the real game changer was Blake's deposition. She thought she could control the narrative by selecting a mild-mannered attorney to walk her through a script of rehearsed responses. Think again. The judge wasn't playing that game and shut it down immediately. Now she's trapped under oath with nowhere to hide as Friedman peels back every layer of deception. Clearly, Blake's entire case is built on contradictions. One moment, she claims Justin made her feel unsafe. Next, she's flooding his phone with texts about how much she loved working with him. Which one is it, Blake? You can't claim to be a victim while acting like the biggest fan of the same guy you are accusing. And Justin, on the other hand, brought all the evidence. His 179-page counter lawsuit is a wrecking ball of undeniable proof. Texts, emails, even video footage, each one obliterating Blake's claims. And the most damaging part, some of those messages show Blake cracking the very same jokes she now claims made her uncomfortable. The hypocrisy isn't just glaring, it's impossible to ignore. Then came the moment that destroyed everything and revealed that Blake had been lying all along. We're talking about the actual video footage completely exposing her claims. She thought she could rewrite history, conveniently ignoring the fact that cameras don't lie. Now, her credibility is crumbling and the world is watching her story fall apart in real time. But she's not the only one. Her husband is sinking right alongside her. Ryan, Hollywood power player who thought he could control the narrative, manipulating headlines like he was crafting the next big blockbuster. He forgot that this isn't a superhero movie script. This is real life, and here, evidence does make a huge difference. Instead of standing tall as the devoted husband, he's now the guy who backed one of the most humiliating PR disasters in recent memory. Blake Lively's once golden reputation has completely shattered. Her days as Hollywood's darling are now gone, and as far as her status as a feminist icon, that's nothing but a memory now. Now, she's facing relentless backlash online like never before. Her reputation is in tatters, her carefully crafted image reduced to rubble. The damage is beyond repair, and all that's left for her to do is stand by as reality closes in. Justin Baldoni's supporters are taking over the internet while Blake Lively's once glamorous empire is crumbling faster than her lawsuit. The fans who once defended her at every turn are now jumping ship after finally seeing the truth. She manipulated the media, pulled the strings in Hollywood, and tried to destroy an innocent man, all in the name of power. But here's the brutal truth. There's no way out for Blake. No PR stunt, no industry connections, no media spin can save her from the legal disaster she's trapped in. Justin didn't just challenge her story, he tore it apart, and now the entire world is watching as Blake's carefully built facade collapses. Also, this isn't some petty Hollywood scandal. This is a career-ending catastrophe. The ultimate irony is that the lawsuit she launched to destroy Justin may be the very thing that bankrupts her instead. Let's talk numbers, because this lawsuit isn't just embarrassing for Blake, it's a financial nightmare waiting to happen. Her fortune is roughly $50 million, and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, is sitting comfortably at $350 million. But Justin Baldoni's counter-lawsuit, a jaw-dropping $400 million. And here's where things get ugly. If she loses, which, let's be honest, is looking more likely by the day, she won't just take a hit, she'll be financially wiped out. Years of carefully stacking up wealth gone in the blink of an eye, all because she thought she could twist the truth without consequences. And if she's hoping for a quiet settlement, that's no longer an option. The judge has officially merged both lawsuits into a single high-stakes legal battle, leaving Blake with no escape route. No quick deals, no PR damage control, just a brutal courtroom showdown with everything on the line. And when it's all over, she won't just be dealing with a bruised reputation. She'll be facing the wreckage of both her career and finances. In Hollywood, the courtroom isn't the only place where verdicts are made. The industry is watching, and its judgment might be even harsher. If Blake walks away from this lawsuit with a $400 million loss stamped on her name, no studio would dare take any risk. No major production company is going to gamble on someone whose name is now synonymous with legal disaster. Hollywood thrives on controversy, but it won't bankroll a walking PR nightmare, and after this, Blake Lively won't just be untouchable, she'll be industry poison. To avoid all of this, Blake and Ryan pulled a stunt at SNL's 50th anniversary, thinking they could fool the public with a red carpet power move. But instead of being confident, they came off as clueless celebrities completely detached from reality. Then Ryan, brilliant as ever, decided to joke about the lawsuit. Seriously, what kind of husband turns his wife's harassment case into comedy material? Well, social media didn't hold back, and the backlash was swift. SNL's comment section turned into a digital battlefield, with fans shredding their phony act to pieces. And just when things couldn't get worse, Brian Friedman raised one question no one could ignore. If Blake was telling the truth, why isn't Ryan outraged? Why is he cracking jokes instead of fighting for her? What was supposed to be a show of strength turned into a humiliating spectacle, proving one thing loud and clear. This wasn't just a PR fail, this was a full-blown implosion. And this is exactly what the internet was waiting for. Once the tide of public opinion turns against you, there is no reversing it. Blake isn't just losing in court, she's being dismantled online. Her reputation crumbling in real time, no amount of PR spin can undo the damage. No Hollywood connection is strong enough to save her. She walked into this fight overconfident, and now she's watching everything she's built go up in flames. Blake Lively didn't just put her reputation on the line, she gambled it all, and now she's on the brink of losing everything. Blake isn't just losing a lawsuit, she's losing the internet, and once that happens, there's no coming back. Social media has turned into a feeding frenzy, with TikTokers and YouTubers tearing apart every detail of her case. They're exposing contradictions, inconsistencies, and straight-up lies, and the receipts, they're damning. Leaked emails, private texts, and behind-the-scenes footage don't just poke holes in her story, they blow it apart. Blake wanted the world to see her as the powerless victim, but the reality looks nothing like that. The evidence tells a different tale, one where she wasn't just a participant, she was the one calling the shots. And the most incriminating proof, her own words. One day, she's all smiles, working in sync with Justin Baldoni, and the next, she's claiming he made her uncomfortable. The internet isn't stupid. They see the truth, and they're not letting this one slide. Blake Lively's reputation isn't just taking a hit, it's imploding in real time. Hashtag cancel Blake Lively is dominating social media, and even her most loyal supporters are turning their backs. Every court ruling, every explosive headline, every leaked receipt is another nail in the coffin. But she's not going down alone. Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's marketing genius, is now caught in the wreckage, and for the first time, his charm isn't enough to fix it. This isn't just a scandal, it's a financial catastrophe waiting to unfold. A $400 million lawsuit doesn't just bruise egos, it wipes out fortunes. And Ryan, his wealth isn't locked away in some vault. It's tied up in billion-dollar brands like Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, and Wrexham AFC. If this legal disaster keeps spiraling, investors could start pulling out, and his multi-million-dollar empire could take a serious nosedive. And Hollywood, it's already jumping ship. The industry isn't in the business of babysitting liabilities, and Blake has officially become one. Her A-list allies? Silent. Scarlett Johansson? Nowhere to be found. Taylor Swift? Ghosted. The same media outlets that once championed her? Backtracking. Even the New York Times, which ran with her story from the start, is now distancing itself. The message is clear, Blake's reign is over, and no one is sticking around to watch her fall. Blake's legal team tried to hint that other actresses might come forward to back her claims, but here's the problem. Not a single one has. No statements, no support, not even a vague show of solidarity. If her case had any real weight, the industry would be rallying behind her. Instead, the silence is louder than any accusation. And then there's Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's golden boy with a billion-dollar franchise on the line. His next Marvel blockbuster is poised to be a massive success, but if public sentiment sours, that victory could slip through his fingers. The industry has seen giants like Johnny Depp and Kevin Spacey fall from grace overnight, proving that no star is untouchable. And Disney, they steer clear of controversy at all costs. If this scandal gains more traction, they won't hesitate to distance themselves to protect their brand. And now, the million-dollar question. Will Ryan Reynolds choose self-preservation over loyalty? In Hollywood, survival always comes first, and when it's a choice between saving his career or sinking with Blake, the answer is almost inevitable. History has shown time and time again when the ship starts going down, even the closest allies find the nearest exit. Blake's future in Hollywood is hanging by a thread. If she loses this case, it won't just be a legal defeat, it'll be a career death sentence. No director wants to be associated with an actress whose credibility has been publicly destroyed. No studio will risk millions on someone whose name is now synonymous with deceit. The wholesome feminist icon image she's worked so hard to create, completely dismantled. Instead of being admired, she's on the verge of becoming a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of how quickly the industry turns its back on those who lose the public's trust. And the nightmare doesn't stop there. Justin Baldoni has every reason to strike back with a lawsuit of his own, seeking damages for the hit his career and reputation have taken. With the sheer amount of evidence on his side, it wouldn't just be a legal battle, it would be a guaranteed win. Blake thought she could control the narrative, but instead she's watching her entire world collapse. Her career is on the brink of extinction. Her finances are circling the drain. Her reputation is beyond repair, and the cruelest twist is that she has no one to blame but herself. This isn't just a legal setback, it's a huge disaster. If the damage is this severe now, imagine what's coming when the trial truly begins. The deeper this case goes, the uglier it gets, and Blake isn't just at risk of losing, she's at risk of total obliteration. Hollywood has seen downfalls before, but this is next level, and once the industry turns its back, there's no path to recovery.